Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, hump day. I hope you're doing well. So I have been getting a lot of downloads and messages about survival mode. And so I feel like today is like keep going. So if you saw my video yesterday, you know that I struggled. And I think right now that there's a lot of that kind of energy out there of moving through stuff. And so I would say keep going. Um, the message I actually got for someone last night that I shared this morning on my Instagram was about having faith and trusting the process. So I feel like that's kind of the continuing energy today of like, keep going, don't give up. Don't stop. Spirit is all around us, always supporting us, always loving us, always helping us. I actually dreamt about my biological father who crossed over when my daughter was about 8 or 9. So we're talking 15 years ago or so. And I don't dream about him often, and I didn't dream about him when he was alive. He was very non-existent in my life. My mother referred to him as a poor soul. He was someone who was kind of your like classic alcoholic. He lived above a bar. He went to a bar every day. He got a pension from the government. I think I believe he was on SSI disability. He had a traumatic and debilitating accident when my parents were getting married, where his hand had got caught in a pulley and it had deformed it. So he had kept the hand, but it was not usable. And so he was unable to work in the capacity that he'd actually been going to school to be an engineer. He was a very, very intelligent man. He'd been in the Navy prior to that. And other than that, I don't really know a lot about him. Good morning, everyone. But he came to me last night, and I feel like it was for support for the way that I've been struggling. And, we've been through a lot in the 11/11 portal, the eclipse just before it. And this really is kind of, I feel like, pushing us out of that, like the birthing canal, right? Like being like pushed out the very end where you're like coming out the other side. And so keep going. I mean, I feel like that was the message that I got from him. Like, we have got this. We have the tools. We know how to stay in gratitude. We know how to pray. We know how to set an intention. Even if you're not a great meditator, like even if you're just taking the time to sit in presence for, 3 minutes when you can, like we have the tools. And sometimes we get into not using the tools because of our humanness, getting out of the habit. I don't want to say laziness, although that's coming up, but just I think that we forget what that connection brings us. And I would say today, take some time to get into connection where you can. I actually have the baby this morning, and I just put her up for a nap. And once I get off here with you all, I'm actually going to meditate. I actually put on my meditation music already. But that's what I'm feeling for us, that we have our guides, we have our helpers, we have our crossed over loved ones, and they're always around us, and they're always supporting us, and they're cheering us and wanting to help us from the other side. But we have to set the intention. And we have to get into communication, taking the time to get into communication. So a little update. I did take the laptop to someone yesterday, and hopefully we'll be back up and running. Right now the website is down as far as like booking me. You can still get to many of the pages. but there's 2 or 3 pages that are down. And I have someone knocking at my door. Oh, and it's my kid. So we're just going to let her in. Come on in. Come on in.
Just for that one.
Oh.
Well, you can eat it. Just don't tell them.
My daughter walked in with Dunkin' Donuts and then told me it was for her daughter. Really? Okay. Yeah, she's not getting that. She had eggs and sausage and juice, and then she ate some of my oatmeal. She literally put herself to nap. All right. Okay. Good luck. Love you. Like the hat. All right, guys. Sorry about that. We had a little delivery. So yeah, today I would say keep going. Don't give up. And that is really, and the reason I'm getting this message, I think, is because there are so many of us that have been in survival mode. We've been in survival mode for a long time. If you're an empath, if you are someone who is feeling the energies of other people or the energies kind of in the field, coming out of survival mode, working through letting go of survival mode, it's a process and it takes time. When you've been someone who has been the people pleaser, or you've always kind of reacted out of trauma response, it's really hard to get out of that mode. That letting go of keeping yourself safe and stable no matter what. Keep letting go of those habits that kept yourself safe. Not taking care of yourself, not meeting your own needs because your trauma response is to meet everybody else's needs so that you stay safe, right? And I feel like in these energies, we were being pushed through that birthing canal to come into our authenticity, to come into who we came here to be. But it's hard. It's hard to let go of not taking care of yourself, to not jump in and fix things for other people, to not give so much that you don't have enough for yourself. Because if you don't give so much, if you don't give your time, if you don't give your energy, if you don't give your resources, you're not going to be okay. You're going to be back in a bad situation, right? Something's going to happen. A shoe is going to fall. Something isn't going to come through. It's that fear that we're so used to, that adrenaline rush. And for some of us, we've gotten addicted to that, right? So for some of us, we're self-sabotaging because we're used to that adrenaline rush. And if we don't have that adrenaline rush, then things aren't how we expect them to be. And that pit in the stomach that's not there. Well, how can I be okay if that bad feeling in my stomach is gone? How can I be okay if I don't feel that rush of adrenaline, that cortisol spike that lets me know that things are moving or changing? Like, and for some of us, we don't even recognize that we're addicted to that. If it's something that like you've always, it's like been your normal. It's been your normal to have that physical reaction that gave you a feeling, even if it was really, really negative, and it probably was, because that was what kind of kept you moving in a direction. And now without that rush, that survival mode, how do I function, right? How do I function when everything is okay? How do I function when I don't get that spike in my physical body that tells me to make a change or make a move? And that survival mode might have been your kind of your modi operandi, right? Your normal operating system. And these energies are pushing you out of your normal operating system because that doesn't work anymore. Exactly, Cynthia. Exactly. We have to change, and our normal is going to change. What we feel is normal is going to change. How does that look? How do we work through that? How do we let go of that physical reaction that has been our almost our guiding point, right? Almost our, we know we're going in the right direction, or we know that things are changing. Ding dang. Sorry about that. Had to reconnect my destination so I could block this person. All right, I'm just gonna have to delete the comment for now. I'll go in and block this person later. But yeah, guys, we have a spammer, so please do not. Please do not. Please do not. Ah, I didn't mean to do that. That's the spammer. Don't buy into the spammer. So that's what I'm coming to for us today. And that's why I'm feeling like we have to stay clear on what we want, keep taking the steps we're being brought to take, but really checking in with our team of guides, angels, and ascended masters, and really checking in with our connection, with our inner being, our sovereignty. That perception behind the ego, right? Because you're not your ego. You're not the fear. So you are the perception that is behind that. And that's where we have to tap into. That's where we have to tap into. Interesting. So I'm really feeling like things are moving. Things are moving in a positive direction. But it's going to be really important to stay the course of the steps that you're being brought to take and keep taking them. And whoever's feeling the change out of any kind of survival mode that you have been operating from, where your situation is now turning into safety and stability, but you're not able to trust it because you've been let down so many times before. You've had so many things fall apart before. You have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried, and it didn't work before. What you have to recognize is you're no longer in that energy. You're no longer on that road. We have shifted. We have this energy is shifting us, which is why for some of you, and for myself included, we are feeling kind of that trigger in our physical body, our emotional body, our mental body, that old pattern of keeping ourselves safe and stable by not taking the step forward, by keeping ourselves playing small, by not doing the thing we really, really want to do, because in the past we ended up in a negative deficit. We ended up without something we needed: a home, a car, a job, a partner, a support system, money. And that's why we've been in the survival mode, because we've been working on getting just the bare minimum of what we need. And so the idea of having abundance and for things to work out without us striving and driving feels so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Because that's the survival mode. That's the trauma response. And we are shifting out of that. And it's time. And it's time. And it's time. So wherever you are on this part of the journey, whether you're just recognizing you've been living out of survival mode, whether you know that you've been working through getting out of survival mode, or whether you feel like maybe you've been out of survival mode, but you're being kind of drawn back into it, that's what the energies are doing, helping you move, helping you shift. And so take it slow, master where you are, and until you really feel confident about where you are, don't take the next step. There's no urgency. Urgency is fear energy. So whatever you're doing, if you're putting out resumes, if you're looking for a partner, like, don't have any urgency about it. Just keep mastering the step you're on, dropping down into your heart, loving yourself. Manifest or draw to you that which is for you, because that's going to be the solid road. That's going to be what works out long term. Anything that you're doing out of that panic, cortisol spike, fear is going to be very short term. Even relationships, jobs, it might work out for a year. I'm not feeling like anything beyond that. So if you want long term, you've got to learn how to surrender and be patient and just keep doing you until what is for you, you're able to manifest. You're able to join up with it, not seek it, not strive or drive for it, but join up with it. And sometimes we're not ready for that thing that we really, really, really want, because we haven't mastered the step we're on. So it's about getting ready to be ready. Getting ready to be ready. Learning how to get into gratitude. Really living in gratitude. Mastering gratitude. Really getting into forgiveness. And I can't say mastering forgiveness. I think that's just a process. But a lot of the survival mode that you're coming out of is going to require forgiveness of a situation or a person or a relationship. And it may not feel good. And it might even be another level of forgiveness that you feel like you had forgiven that, or you had really let go of that, and it's like popping you back in the face. Yeah, ding, 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 right? Oh, shoot, that just came back up, because we're going another level deeper. And so wherever you're needing to master, whatever step you're on, especially for those of you who are like, I need support, whether it's a partner or a group or just that one person that says, I get you, a authentic friend, whatever it is that you're needing in your life, it's coming. And if it's not here yet, all you've got to do is keep tapping into source, your divinity, your sovereignty, who you are, your team of guides, angels, and ascended masters, because they're always with you until you're able to, what Abraham says, get into the vortex, right? And receive that you're trying to manifest, receive that what you're wanting. And sometimes getting ready to be ready can be hard because it requires surrender and patience and letting go of the how and the when and just being ready when it shows up. Having faith, trusting the process. And when you can't see where things are going to open up, when you can't see where your blessing is going to come, when you can't see, it's really hard to have faith. And so that's where getting into gratitude will help you kind of move the needle on that, right? Move the needle on that. So when I needed to move the needle on my blessings, and I needed to move them fast, because I was on my knees. I didn't know where my blessing, I had no idea where my blessing was going to, because I had no resource. I had lost my certification. I couldn't do my career. I was interviewing and nothing was happening. And until I started doing my gratitude journal, nothing showed up. And when it did show up, there was no way I could have seen that road. I never would have seen in a million years that blessing coming in the direction that it came from. The universe could. My guides could. God could. I couldn't. I had to have faith. And the only way that I could have faith to do that was to surrender. 10 things every day I was grateful for, no matter how small they were. Just getting in that high vibrational frequency allowed me to get into the vortex and receive that job that led me to today, all those years ago. So when you're coming out of survival mode, you're not going to be able to see what direction the blessings are coming from. You're not going to be able to see how things are going to open up for you. That's where you have to surrender and have the faith. And that's what I feel like this energy is asking us to do, because we are being shot out at the end of that birthing canal, and it's uncomfortable. So Thomas and I are going to talk about more. We started a conversation a couple of weeks ago about affirmations, intentions, how to kind of step into your happiness. We're going to continue that conversation tomorrow at 3:30. So please join us. And if you want to watch the replay, I actually posted it on this Facebook page. It's also, if you're watching me on YouTube, it's also in the playlist of Consciousness Conversations. So yeah, so we're gonna get together tomorrow at 3:30. What do you need to know for your happiness? What is Spirit going to bring through for us? And I feel like it's really going to kind of I know it's going to. It's going to kind of match up to the energies that are out there right now and kind of, what I'm talking about here today. Oh, awesome, Darlene. Awesome. Okay. So tonight at 6:30, I will be in the meeting for the monthly meetup for Living in Love. If you are a subscriber, I hope I will see you later. If you're not able to come, that's okay. You will have access to the replay. And for those of you that would like to join us, All you have to do is subscribe and register at subkit.com/guidance311. There are 3 membership portals, so take a look at those. And then if you're being called to join us, I will look forward to it. All right, guys, have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday. I'll talk to you soon.